we're the second half of the same team, so you could see that as cheating. I don't know, I'm sorry if you do. But we came with two ideas. Our second idea was the idea for an activity tracker. Part of the work that we do is trying to measure capacity of services for psychological therapies. The reason that we're doing this is we're trying to reduce waiting times, and you actually need to know what's going on within a service before you can really start to alter things. At the moment, how this is done is literally filling in by pen and paper on a really simple spreadsheet what people are doing every 15 minutes of the day for potentially 2 weeks. It's incredibly time consuming. It's a bit of a nightmare for everyone. We have to then take that data and analyze it and put it into graphs. What we wanted was a program that could do this automatically, that hopefully people could carry around with them so that they could just do it on their phone or their tablet, but even just doing it on a PC would be of huge benefit. The scope of this, I think, as I found out over the weekend, is massive. I mean, we work within NHS Lothian. We're an early implementer site for some of this work. It's been rolled out across the whole of Scotland, but actually I've had surgeons, different consultants coming up to me saying this is a real problem within our service as well. It's something that we need to fix. So hopefully we can take this a bit further than this weekend and get it developed to a real working way. I think that kind of gives you the background of what we need to do, and I'll hand over to Matt here, who did all the technical side stuff. We've got a brilliant team who've been really, really great. There you go. Enjoy.
Excellent. Thank you. I guess there was 3 of us that started making it, but we've had someone go off today, so unfortunately it's not as far as we would have liked it to have been. And we used Twitter Bootstrap for the styles. Someone's got to use it somewhere in a startup event. I can't see it. There we go. So the site's got a login. So the idea would be that whoever is setting up a reporting period would create a list of users, give them their passwords, email them out, invite them to the test, and they would log in. Once they're logged in, so I think Rick was saying it takes 2 weeks usually. They do it over periods of like 2 weeks at a time. They don't do it constantly. So during this point, they would fill out a day, select their day. So we haven't got quite far enough to add the minutes into the hours, so that's meant to be like 8 o'clock, 8:15, 8:45, and then 9, but yeah, oh sorry, 8:30, then 8:45, there we go. So it is that you can set up these, we've got in the back end generic categories, which you can assign activities to, and then you can assign the activities to a profession. So if you want to set it up differently for a surgeon or a psychologist, they can fill out different data. So they say for this 15 minutes I was talking to someone on the phone, then I had a meeting for 15 minutes, and then you save it, and then it doesn't work, obviously. It's saved in the back end, it's just not displaying properly for some reason. So in the back end, like I was talking about before, there's all these generic categories that you can set up, so you can add new ones in here. This is the Django admin, so you just add your models to it. You don't actually have to do much to make it work. Different professions. You set up your reporting periods, but the whole idea of this is that you can generate charts from it. So this is some dummy data. We haven't actually hooked it up properly yet, but the idea would be that you can define custom reports in the back end, display different types. This is done using Google Charts or their engine. So this is actually using dummy data, but talking to the engine and then displaying it. It's quite hacky in the back end. It's just a prototype, but yeah, I think you can see where we're going with it. I think there's loads of scope. I mean, especially when you start applying it to different jobs and departments. Yeah, don't think I have anything else. Start together.
Yes. 3 minutes, guys, please. What is this graph on screen?
It's a pie chart. I didn't actually do the graphs. Douglas did, so maybe you can tell me.
It's a chart of how the consultant psychologist's time has been used up and what they're doing. That's on every activity they're doing. There's another chart where they show them what percentages of direct work and indirect work and other stuff.
So you can group activities into different sorts, so clinical, non-clinical activities, if you want to do it like that, or you could do admin versus clinical activities. You can do these things. This is absolutely everything, so it's maybe, it looks like quite a lot, but you can group it and see what's going on, what people are actually spending their time doing, what proportions of their time they're spending on different tasks. Any other questions?
Oh, there's a question from James first.
Okay, so you said at your pitch this was about testing a whole department. It's absolutely not about testing one member of staff. Is there any technical measures you can take to convince a single member of staff without being targeted?
Well, unfortunately, they would have absolutely no choice. Whether to do it or not. Ultimately, I mean, we're not managers and we're not consultants. If a consultant manager looks at this and sees that somebody's spending none of their time doing something that's really important for their job, that might be something that needs to be followed up. Ultimately, from our point of view, it's about patient care. You know, our patients getting the best care out of the service. You wouldn't, I mean, we're not wanting to classify people, we're not wanting to look at people individually, we're wanting to look at whole groups. From a managerial point of view, if you're looking at job plans, you are going to be wanting to look at how much of people's job plans fit in with what they're actually doing. And so, possibly not. It might not be entirely popular, but it'll be a hell of a lot more popular when you haven't spent your time doing a pen and a piece of paper.
So I think this looks really great. There are existing time tracking apps out there with both some open source ones and closed source ones. Did you look into those? Were there specific gaps that you were addressing?
I would assume, well, we didn't look at them mainly because the data has to be secure. So I wouldn't like to put it on a third-party time tracking solution or have to scrape them to get the data. I mean, I would imagine if you're going to roll this out to a lot of places, it's going to become quite hefty in the back end. So you're going to want customized report generations in terms of big data solutions. Big data. Yeah. Yeah, so it could be used. I mean, it's possible that we could have reused one of those, but I don't think it's something that we could have done in a weekend to try and hack something into an existing one and make it work.
We did have a bit of a look before we came here, probably from a less techy side of things, and what was already available, if there were things that this could be entered into. There's nothing that we can use at the moment to do this, and it's not being used. There's nothing being used to do this except quite simple things. So it's possible that things could be maybe altered. We didn't go down that path, but there's nothing that does what we wanted to do. Right?
What's the feature that's missing?
Well, I don't know. As I said, the baby things that we can see that there are out there that we didn't find, but from looking at it on a clinical basis, something that's going to transport the data, keep the data secure, process it in the way that we want to. We couldn't find it in a quick search. It might be we're not looking in the right places.
Okay, and on that, can we give a big round of applause to this team, but also to all the teams for the stuff they